Last video was about your gift is your power. How your parents, once they identify your gift, how they can help you towards that purpose. Today's video is about how you can discover your gift. You know, everyone was created on this earth for a divine purpose in life. As I mentioned in the previous video, that your gifts are discovered at a young age. Some create their purpose because they have not found it. Your parents are the ones close enough to be able to discover what talents each child has got. And your talents bring something in this world to contribute to it. Your gifts and your talents will show up even when you're not looking. This is something that you will enjoy doing and you're so good at. And people will ask you, how did you even do that? For you, it just comes natural because that's the gift that God has given you. That is why it comes natural, and for other people, it may not come natural. You spend your time doing this one particular thing and you won't even lose track of time. But when you eventually grow up, you feel like it's not something that you really want to do. And suddenly you're so confused. Sometimes we enter careers because our parents want us to do those certain careers. This is when you start doing work and you feel like it's work because you literally hate it. When you are doing something and it feels like work, this is not something that you were destined to do. Because what you were destined to do is something that you will enjoy doing, that you won't even feel like you're doing some work. There's so many options and influences from society and family, and they will make you try and create your own purpose. Some people will try and copy what you do, but they will find it very difficult to do. It's not what God has created them to do. This is when you notice many people will tell you, you are a natural, because what you are doing, it just comes naturally. Sometimes when we grow up, we start distancing ourselves from things that we love doing because we feel like it's something that maybe society may not accept us doing that particular thing. And fear begins to creep in. And yet this is the thing that you are supposed to be doing. Yet you don't realize that the very same thing you have a fear on doing is what you were destined to do. When you begin to work outside God's purpose, this is when you become confused and you don't know what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, you're not fulfilled in what you really want to do. Nothing is satisfying. It all feels like it's dragging. It all feels like it's a job. You're not satisfied in what you're doing when you start changing careers and courses. The best thing you can do in life is to know your purpose. To know what you are here on earth for. What are you contributing on this earth? When you look at the graves today, they're full of talents that have been buried out there. The people in those graves never got the power to live their gifts. You have a chance to do that. You have a chance to change that. You don't want to be part of them. And those talents are just lying there and they were never discovered. It's so sad how many talents are lying there, talents that would have contributed to the world. Maybe your destiny was aligned with somebody out there that's never got to use that gift, that your destiny is connected to. You have a chance to change that. If you don't know what your gifts are, ask God to show you. Ask yourself, who are you and what's your purpose here on earth? Remember, life is a journey, not a destination. In Psalm 139 says, you knitted me together in my mother's womb. God knew you when he created you. In that case, do you know who you are? You were given that gift while you were knitted in your mother's womb. That gift that is in you came with you when you were born. Your destiny is in you. You just need to discover it. As long as you're comfortable with who you are, you'll never change and you'll never get to discover your gift. You get so confused that you keep changing from one career to another because you don't know what you want to do in life. You don't know what your gifts are. Society may make those decisions for you, but when you are living outside your purpose, you'll keep going round and round in circles and not get to your destination. You'll even go to school just to discover your gift and you'll end up studying the wrong course. This is when you begin to study a course. By the time you reach second year, it's not what you want to do. So sometimes we're following our friends and we're following society because that's what they want us to do. Or maybe that's where the money is. You won't be happy in that job. You may be making enough money and a lot of money, but you're not happy. You're not fulfilled. Because the very gift that you were given, you think it's not something that you want to be seen doing. Or maybe you think it's a low-paying career. And yet you don't know what God has for you. You don't know that by just baking those cake, you'll end up having that restaurant. By just designing that outfit, you'll end up having your own fashion house. By just teaching those students maths, you'll end up having your own franchise through that gift that He's given you. However, even those gifts that God has given us, somebody needs to benefit from that talent that God has given you. And you are putting that gift aside just because society doesn't approve of it. And you don't know where those talents will take you. Look at Dorcas in Acts 9 verse 26. She used her talents for God's glory to reach out and give. With the gift of giving, God used Peter to raise her up from the dead. So sometimes we have to reach out to people from time to time by using our gifts. Just like Dorcas, who used her gift to glorify God. You need to do what you can with what you have. Use your talents. Don't look down on your talents. God has work for you to do, and it's through you. Look at Peter in Acts 4 verse 13 and Matthew 4 verse 19. He was living outside his purpose, and he thought that was his gift, the gift of being a fisherman. That's what he did for a living. He became one of Jesus' disciples, from being that blunt, arrogant man to a humble servant of God, who was now renamed from Simon to Peter. Jesus told him to toss his net one night after fishing for a whole night because he was tired. He wasn't catching anything. He was living outside his purpose. When you are living outside your purpose, you won't catch anything. You won't catch any fish until you discover your purpose. That is when Jesus called him to join him. He was commissioned to fish and being a disciple of God, to preach the gospel of God. Yet he rather chose to become a fisherman. Peter thought his purpose was to become a fisherman. Maybe it's because it was the only thing that he knew how to do. Not knowing that God had other plans for him, he restored him. He was filled with the Holy Spirit and he became the fisher of men. On that day, he was able to bring in 3,000 men and they were baptized. Just on that day, 3,000 men were baptized. That was already a sign that this was where he was supposed to be, where he was destined to be. As human beings, sometimes we don't believe what we're supposed to do. He went back and became a fisherman. He left everything and went back and thought, this is what I know best. Sometimes as human, we go back to the things that we're comfortable in doing. So comfortable that we feel like it's better to do the things that we know than doing something that is completely new. Not realizing that these are the things that can slow you down. The things that you're comfortable in doing are the things that have been slowing you down all these years. You find yourself being stagnant in doing one and the same thing, because you have that fear of not stepping out of your calling. We labor in vain and keep chasing the wind. Yet God has got something better for us. If God can change Peter, He can change you as well. You need to step up from that comfort zone. Trust God with the gift. They are yours. You just need to be obedient. You can follow that career just because it pays a lot of money, but at the end of the day, you won't be happy because you are doing something that is outside your calling. So on the next video, you'll find out what happens when you do things that are outside your gifts. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this content, there's part 3 to follow. See you in the next video.